because that's where you will catch the trails that will let you find embezzlement. Like I said, it's so rare for me to find somebody that actually uses their software like they're supposed to. What I find a lot is I'll say, well, talking to a dentist, I'll say, well, why don't you have your front desk or your staff do that? Well, they don't want to do that. And my smart-ass remark then is, well, when did they start writing your check? But it happens way more than one would think.
But would you have access, like you're a buyer, would the seller let you have access to check the record?
Well, now, you as a buyer, here's the process. You make an offer on a practice, and I've got the offer form up there. I start with just a 1.5-page contract, which has been approved by the Real Estate Commission. But that's not the final contract. But this one spells out the price and some of the basic, there it is. It lays out the basics of that sale. The price, the non-compete area, and such as that. Well, with that, once the price is agreed upon, I get the check from the buyer and I go to escrow and I open escrow on that practice. At that point, escrow is doing all of their searches, because they will make sure that when you buy that practice, it is free of all debt. You never want to do something without escrow, ever. It also opens up your due diligence period. And in your due diligence period, they have to answer every question you've got. And during that due diligence period, if you find anything that's been misrepresented, all you do is call me, send me an email that you wish to void the deal. I send it to escrow and they return your deposit. End of deal. So you've got some real safeguards in there. And the escrow period usually is 15 or 20 days. And that's when you go to your accountant and your attorney and you say, what do we need to ask? Oh, what's my next one? Well, then what happens? We get into it, and your asset agreement is your main contract. And I've got like a template that I give to each person to take to their attorney and redline anything in there the way they want it, or even if your attorney has an asset agreement they want to use, fine. I mean, it has to be written by an attorney anyway. But I get them from both sides. I incorporate anything that either side wants into a master, send it back to the buyer and the seller to go over it with their attorney again. And then when that is acceptable, they sign it, and that becomes the escrow instructions. And with that, as soon as it funds from the lender, they fund to escrow, and then at closing, like I say, the seller, the escrow will say, do you want a check or do you want it wire transferred into your account? But escrow will make sure that all the bills are paid. Now, escrow will also do any prorations, like on utilities and stuff where there's monthly bills. So they will prorate it to the day of closing. Any other questions? Did I cover it pretty good, Jared? Because he bought a great practice. And this is us. Like I say, I've been brokering for 15 years in town. I was a management consultant and before that, and what happened when Part 133 was passed, does everybody know what 133 was? Okay, I guess everybody does. That was the credentialing law. That was the first thing that opened up Nevada to outside dentists. And that said that any dentist in the United States who had practiced for 5 years with a clean record could credential into Nevada. They got a temporary license for 2 years if they did. The criteria was really pretty simple, but at the end of the 2 years, they were issued their permanent regular license. And that went along for a while. And I'm horrible about time and space, but then when did Nevada become part of Western States regionals? Anyway, so that
Not that long ago.
I'm thinking about 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And now that opened up a whole new ball game that you didn't take the Nevada boards, you took the Western States regionals. And now I guess they're open to the, what's the, huh?
ADEX.
Yeah, that one. So that, you didn't have to take the Nevada boards, which one of the reasons that the legislature took it away from the board, the dental board, was they were only passing 19% of the people taking the boards. Everybody taking them graduated from an accredited dental school, but they were only passing 19%. And the truth of how it came about was culinary. At that point, nobody would take culinary. Well, culinary, what legislator in Nevada is going to fight culinary? It ain't going to happen. So culinary got involved, and that's how 133 got passed. And it passed 100%. And that opened the door. Now, last year I was a speaker at the Dental Society meeting, and I did the research. Las Vegas still has one of the best ratios of population to general dentists in the United States, of major cities. When I did it last year, it was 2350 to 1. The national average is 1600 to 1. And when I did mine, I did not take out specialists. So it was actually better than that, but I don't know exactly how much better. So you've got a good future here. I think I covered it all. Any other questions? Okay, thank you much.